In this modern era of commercialization, we all need to understand the basic concept of contract, which will help us in many ways in our life, like for buying and selling properties, for entering into a business agreement, or even entering before a life insurance. All commercial things are related to law of contract, so basically we must know about what is law of contract and what are the basic essentials of a contract. Contract has been defined under Section 2H. Section 2H defines Indian contract as agreement which are enforceable by law. So basically a contract is an agreement which are enforced by law. Now let us understand the thing in detail. What is an agreement? Agreement has been defined in Indian Contract Act as a promise or set of promises forming consideration. So basically agreement means there may be one promise or there may be more than one or set of promises which are forming consideration. So from the definition of agreement we are getting two terms. One is promise and another one is consideration. Promise has been defined in the act as offer and acceptance. Means one person is making an offer and in response to that offer another person is accepting that offer. That is creating a promise. Let me give an example. Suppose A and B both are friends and A is making an offer to his friend B to sell his phone in 10,000 rupees and B in responding to that offer accepting the offer to buy the phone in 10,000 rupees. That is a promise. A promise was made by A and B. And consideration is something in return. In the promise, both the persons are getting something in return. Okay, A and B both are making a promise. So A is selling his phone to B and B is buying the phone from A. So A is getting the money from B, that 10,000 rupees in which he is selling his phone. That 10,000 rupees was the consideration for A and for B the consideration was phone. So the concept of agreement is that there is a promise and there is a consideration. Promise means one person is making an offer, another person is accepting the offer, that is the promise. And consideration means both the person are getting something, that is the concept of consideration. So that was the concept of agreement. Now let us understand enforceable by law. This is a very important thing. Enforceable by law means the contract is enforced into the court. Means the contract, if two persons of the contract, one person breaches the contract or disobeys any condition of the contract or disobeys the whole contract, then the another person can go to the court for seeking justice. That is enforceability. So a contract becomes enforceable when certain conditions, all the conditions that have been mentioned in Indian Contract Act, if the contract is made with all the conditions, then the contract is enforceable. So all the agreements which are made with all the essential conditions that have been mentioned in Indian Contract Act and the agreements which are enforceable by law, that becomes a contract. So that was the basic concept of contract. And now we'll see what are the conditions that have been mentioned in Indian Contract Act that must be fulfilled to make a contract enforceable in the court. So the conditions are, first one is offer and acceptance. Like from the definition of agreement, there must be an offer and there must be an acceptance. One party must be making the offer and another party must accepting that offer. So the example I give, that A and B both are making a promise. A is making an offer to sell his phone and B is accepting the offer to buy his phone. That was offer and acceptance. So offer and acceptance is a very important thing to create a contract. The another condition is intention to create legal relationship. Means there must be intention in both the parties to create a legal relationship. Suppose I am making a promise to my friend that we'll go to watch a movie tonight, and if I don't go to watch movie with my friend, then my friend cannot enforce that contract or that agreement into the court, because if there was not any intention to create a legal relationship. Watching a movie together or going somewhere together cannot be a contract or cannot create any legal intention. So there must be a legal intention between both the parties from before making the contract, that both the parties have that legal intention that they are entering into a contract. That is very essential thing. The third condition is lawful consideration. Means the consideration that both the parties are getting, that must be lawful. In the example of the phone, A was selling his phone to B and B was buying the phone. For A the consideration was the money and for B the consideration was the phone. Here both the parties must get a lawful condition, lawful consideration. Any unlawful consideration is not valid under law of contract. Means if someone gives any consideration that is unlawful, the contract is not valid, the contract cannot be enforced into the court. Suppose A is selling drugs to B and B is buying that drugs. So here B's consideration is that drug which A is selling. So this contract cannot be termed as a valid contract because here B is getting an unlawful consideration, which is drug, which is not a lawful thing. So any unlawful consideration make the contract and make the contract void, which is not enforceable. So the consideration for both the parties must be lawful. Okay. The next condition is capacity of the parties, means who are eligible to enter into a contract. That is, the person must be a major person, means the person must have completed 18 years of age. The person must be a sound person. He is not an unsound person, means he is mentally stable to enter into a contract. Okay, so if the person is 18 years have completed 18 years of age, and if the person is sound mind, means he is mentally eligible to enter into a contract, then only the person is eligible to make a contract. Any person who has not completed the age of 18 years is not eligible to enter into a contract, and if any person enters into an agreement before completing 18 years of age, then the contract is void and is not enforceable in the court of law. Okay. The next condition is free consent. The consent of both the parties who are making the contract must be free. That must not be obtained by any kind of fraudulent way or any kind of compulsion or any kind of different thing. Consent must be free. Both the parties must have free consent to enter into the contract. Okay, that is a very important thing. The another condition is lawful object. The object relating to which the contract is being made, that must be lawful. If the contract is being made for the object of selling a house or selling a car or selling a phone or selling anything, that is lawful. But if the contract is made with the object of selling something illegal, suppose drugs, suppose bombs, suppose guns, that contract is not a lawful contract, because the object must be lawful. Okay, any illegal object is not covered by Indian Contract Act. So if any contract is made for any illegal object, that contract is void and not enforceable in the law. Okay. The last condition is legal formalities. So there must be legal formalities in the contract. There is not any binding rule that the contract must be written. Contract may be oral, but for the interest of the parties, it is written. And if the contract is a written contract, the papers must be signed. There must be some legal formalities. Without the legal formalities, the contract is not enforceable in the court. So these were the conditions which make the contract enforceable, and when an agreement is enforceable, then the agreement is called as a contract. Okay. So the basic idea of contract is there must be an agreement between two parties, and there must be consideration for the both parties. So both parties are getting consideration in the agreement, and the agreement, if the agreement becomes enforceable in the law, then the agreement becomes a contract. So that was the basic idea of a contract. Please hit the like button, and if you are a law student, please subscribe to my channel to get more legal updates and legal videos. Thank you.